Hello, so basically I'm making this before Deltarune chapters 5. I don't know, I was gonna say 3 and 4. It's chapter 5, only 5. So I'm making this because I want... Oh, so sorry if there's background noise. I don't know if there will be, but maybe. Um, anyway. So, I'm making this so I can tell you guys before the, actual thing comes out if I was right on anything or not. So, here is my list of duty dots. I would, like most bingo boards are 5 across because, that actually makes sense instead of looking ugly like this. But I really couldn't come up with that many without, like, stealing from whatever the most popular ideas are. I will say that they did have some outside influences, like I'm not immune to outside influence. But most of these are like my own thoughts that I can really like, say for sure that I believe in. So let's start with on the very the top left, the boss rematches. Now I'm gonna be honest, I just don't believe that this one will actually happen at all. Outside of like maybe a mini boss rematches, I don't think it's even gonna happen. But I can hope. And it would be a shame if Deltarune completed and there was no way to, quickly access bosses. Because, I mean, you can of course make a save file to access a boss rematch. But you can only really do like 1 or 2. I just want an easier way. Anyway, the next one is Carol Goes to the Dark World. Now, I can really imagine this quite well. Although, if they're trying to have the, Night being Carol thing continue, then I'm not too sure. But there's a chance she'll just show up regularly in the Dark World, considering she has, like, that big-ass samurai sword. Or just, like, I don't know what kind of sword it is. But yeah, it's in the kitchen. Just, like, chilling there. So we know she likes swords. There's a chance she may directly get involved in the Dark World, though I'm not 100% sure. Now, the next one is a song called Synthesis, being in Chapter 5. Now, I may be wrong, not gonna lie, but it's based on this observation that the Bibliocs from Chapters 3 and 4, sometime in the battle, one of the acts, you like pick a word and it'll be like misspelled, and people have noticed that it's like names of songs that are in the game, like Gallery. Other ones I honestly only Gallery and Guardian are the only 2 I really remember. But so yeah, we may see Synthesis showing up. I picked Synthesis specifically because Festival is obviously going to be in this chapter, but I'm wondering if any of the other ones will be in this chapter too. And considering this one's called Synthesis, it's pretty likely, Number 4, Chris makes a fountain. Now, we already know that Susie said, I'll let you make the next one to Chris. So, there's a chance that, it's just going to be obvious payoff. So that's gonna happen. Now, I'm not saying this would be like the best thing ever, because I mean, we already saw Chris make a fountain. But if it's like, Susie there with Chris, maybe she'll have some questions about it, Like, oh hey, Chris, yours looks normal or something. Who knows? I mean, Susie's a bit oblivious, not gonna lie. I mean, there was a fountain inside Chris's house, and Susie had no questions about that. But who knows? Next is Fight the Sun. Now, this is kind of one of the ideas that I just got from other people, but I do think it'd be really funny. The basis on this one is for the chapters 3 and 4 trailer. At the end, you see the sun show up. Not the sun. You see the Titan in a really vague way. You see the final boss of the chapter. So, there's a chance that at the end of the last trailer, it could also be doing a similar thing. Now, I don't think Toby Fox would really... He's not like a big patterns guy. Like, he's not gonna let his thing be super obvious, but there's a chance. And I think it'd be kind of cool to see, like, the sun being a somewhat antagonistic force. Although, if I'm going to be honest, I would prefer it to just be, like, a sweet, maybe touching moment, you know? Like, maybe just the sun coming down, and then we see Rosse gradually fade out of, you know, the dark world or something. I don't know. But the next one is Blue Soul Mode. Now, this kind of also operates under my theory that, well, there's this popular theory where it's like Deltarune is Undertale in reverse, and there's been a few stretches here and there, but so far I've kind of seen it, like the Card Kingdom being New Home or whatever, Chapter 2 being, what, the core, I think, Chapter 3 being the whole Metaton stuff, Hotland, and then Chapter 4 being Waterfall. So Chapter 5 could end up having at least a section where it ends up like snowed in. I'm not really sure how or why it would get to that point, but it could be interesting. So yeah, I'm kind of skipping ahead a little to the one over there. But anyway, Blue Soul Mode, we've seen the green, we've seen the yellow. Blue is one of the most iconic, so I'm sure we'll see that. I'm not sure what else they're gonna do with it, but there was a cool fan game I played that did something with the Blue Soul Mode. Maybe they'll do something like that, who knows. So the next one is the fountain doesn't get sealed at the end of the chapter. Now, I think that'd be pretty interesting. Either because the roaring begins or something, or I don't know, they just aren't able to seal it in time before something bad happens. It could be interesting. I kind of don't remember what was specifically in my mindset when I wrote that one, but I just think it is a nice idea. And now for the next one, is that there will be more than one Dark World. I mostly think this because we're following up Chapter 4, which had, in a way, different Dark Worlds, even though they're kind of like different flavors of the same one, you know? So I'm thinking, maybe this will be a similar case where it's like, maybe it's one building, right? But, like, different parts are sectioned off, so you have to, like, find a way. Honestly, that's kind of just Chapter 4 again. I don't know. It's either that, or maybe there will just straight up be two Dark Worlds. One in the Flower King, presumably, and maybe one in the festival itself, or could be in Noel's house. Although they may leave that to a different chapter, so who knows. The next one is Hat Rosse Return. Now, there's a lot of fan takes on Chapter 5, which have Rosse, like, being confused with the flowers and stuff, and, like, having to hide. And I think it'd be interesting for Rosse to, you know, trying to hide from the flowers if he ended up putting a hat on again. And he had, like, the darker form that he had. Because I just really like that form. And it'd be kind of a nice, you know, showing how he's changed, I guess. It'd be cool. Now the next one is Asgore Titan. As in, he makes a Titan, or there's a Titan kind of in his image or something. Back in, like, Chapter 2, they showed what the Titans may look like, and some of them looked like the Roaring Knight Loki, and some of them looked like Asgore, so I wouldn't be too, you know, shocked if Asgore did have a Titan. The next one was supposed to be the free space. If this was like a 5x5, this would be the free space. So yeah, Birdly Festival is my free space. Although I do want to share one specific idea I have in mind for Birdly Festival. It would be him. Like, if you choose to go with him, Chris would be like fucking mad as hell. And I think it'd be funny if there's like a dialogue prompt to close your eyes and imagine what Susie's doing, because we haven't seen one like that in the light world. And I think it'd be funny if it went over to Susie and Noelle and they were on the Ferris wheel, because it'd kind of be like similar to that chapter 2 moment, you know, where you go see what Susie's doing. I think that'd be really nice and cool. And I don't know why I have just this scene in my head, but I can see it, you know. Anyway, this next one definitely probably caught your eye. Friend Inside Me. Now there's not too much to explain if you know what Friend Inside Me is. I'm just putting a prediction that it'll come true. We already got set up in chapter 3 with Tenna saying that there used to be a cowboy around the parts. And, you know, Asgore took all the tapes. So now that we're going to Asgore's place, we may finally interact with the cowboy dude. And there may be even a chance that Image Friend, is inside the TV or something. Who knows? So yeah, the next one is Flower King being snowed in. Now, I kind of already explained my reasoning behind it with like reverse Undertale or whatever. But another part of my reasoning is because a lot of people seem to take Gerson's line with the field of pink and gold was swallowed by fire or whatever. They kind of seem to take it literally, even though every other one of Gerson's predictions were not literal. You know, like they weren't exactly what happened, word for word. So I'm thinking instead of like a fire engulfing it literally, what if it snowed over, you know, like everything got bleak. Maybe like someone left the door open, so you know how like in chapter 3 there was a snow area. I'm presuming it was all snow because, you know, the door was open, perhaps, which made it all cold. So I can imagine something like that maybe happening in Flower King. So the next board space is Asgore and Noelle being kidnapped. This one, I don't have too much to say about it. I just think there is a chance that Asgore will be taken. I mean, we don't know if the knight was actually truly trying to take Toriel in chapters 3 and 4 or not. But let's be honest, the chapter 4 Dark World might, like, it's kind of pointless if they didn't have an actual goal to get Toriel. Like, there's a chance that even the knight thought Toriel was going to be there. So, upon not finding Toriel, you know, they just started fucking with the fun gang or whatever. So, it would make sense if they wanted to kidnap Asgore. And we know, like, I just feel like it's pretty obvious Noelle is going to have something to do with whatever ritual they're doing. Carol has something up her, like, this has something in mind, and the knight definitely has something in mind. I feel like it'd be a very good point of tension if Noelle got roped up into this and kidnapped by the knight. I don't know. So it's kind of more like, in my mind, they're both getting kidnapped, but there's a reality where only one of them gets kidnapped. And there's a reality where none of them does, so who knows. The next one is catty jealousy. Now, I think a big theme of this chapter will be jealousy, like, given that there's a festival, you know, all the Asgore and Toriel drama, I feel like a theme of it will just be jealousy. Maybe even in the sense that Rose is jealous that he cannot be a real person and he wants to be to Light World. All that stuff. And I imagine Caddy will finally maybe approach Susie and, like, after seeing her with Noelle, like, kind of call Susie out and all that stuff. I don't really know where it'd go beyond that. But it'd be nice to see someone kind of, like, call out Susie a little bit. Because, I mean, I love her. But, like, y'all know how she was acting before. And this one's kind of, like, this board space is kind of one that I also, like, I had a similar idea beforehand, but I saw a video and it was talking more about that specifically and wanting to see more of Caddy, and I think that'd be a real great way to have more of her. Anyway, the next space is Night the knight fights Asgore. Now, this would be just awesome, not gonna lie. And considering Asgore has a black shard, there may have been an altercation in the past, because, you know, the black shard is the item you get after whooping the knight's ass. So, he could have actually stood a chance against the knight. And maybe that's why they're so scared of, like, waking Toriel up. Because, you know, she might actually also be a badass in the Dark World, who knows. So if we get to see the altercation, that'd be cool. Or maybe if, like, we just find out that he fought the knight in the past. I think that would probably count for this part. Anyway, Titan spawn return. Now, I think with the game getting darker in tone, the Titan spawn will be like recurring enemies in places of great darkness, you know? We were introduced to them in chapter 4, even when we couldn't see them in those dark chasing sections. So I think now would be a good time to just have them as enemies. And it also, I just like them in a sense because you actually like get to kill things for once. Like this, you don't get a bad ending if you kill the Titan spawns, at least in chapter 4, compared to like if you hurt the Darkners, who are like more sentient and kind. So it'd be cool to just have them as regular enemies, and maybe we'll be able to add on to our Purifier Slain counter, which barely exists so far, but it's notable. Anyway, Ralsei solo fight. Now, to be honest, I was thinking this was like bound to happen at first, but knowing that this, similarly to chapter 3, has to do with one of Chris's parents, I think there's a chance it might be another like Chris battle, but I'm still holding out hope. So in chapter 3 we got like a lot of Chris focus, and you know, they were fighting the mantle by themselves. And you could even say like fighting Spamton was a solo fight to an extent. Susie got a fight with Gerson, and then Ralsei, if we are to follow the trend, may get one this chapter. Now I know Toby doesn't really like to follow trends, so that's why I'm not 100% sure about this one. But given that he seems to be somewhat important in this chapter, like with all the flowers, and just, I don't know specifically what, but I feel like he may get a solo fight in this chapter, and I'd be down to see it. Now, the next one is Alphys entering the Dark World. Now, I think this chapter will really shine a light on Alphys' effect on Asgore. And I think it kind of makes sense to involve Alphys, considering that Undyne was kidnapped last chapters. So, you know, like with all the Japan like theming in the trailers and everything we've seen so far, like, you know, she's the anime girl, and even Mew Mew Kissy Cutie or whatever has like pink and gold in their color scheme. So it's just like, if Alphys doesn't show up, I'll be fine with that, but I think it would be a nice point for her to enter. So yeah. Anyway, Noelle, Dark World. Now this one, I don't even think I really have to explain all that much, but there's a good chance Noelle will go into the Dark World. Now in the normal route, I honestly can see this not happening, but in the weird route, it would probably make a lot less sense, because Noelle has already discovered that everything that happened in the Dark World were real, you know? So it'd be kind of weird if she didn't enter a Dark World soon. Like, it doesn't have to happen this chapter, I suppose, but it's just like, damn, you know? Like, how long are they gonna be able to keep this from her? Who knows? So yeah, I'm not too 100% sure about like the normal route and stuff, but there's a chance Susie may finally open up to Noelle about it, or, you know, Noelle just happens to be there with them when they find the Dark World, so she's kind of roped into it like that. Who knows? I'm not 100% sold on that one though. So yeah, there's only a few other things I want to mention before, because I'm at the end of the prediction board. So I didn't put friend on like any specific spot other than friend inside me, but he's up. Like friend, whatever it is, that's 100% gonna show up in this chapter. Like I feel it in my bones. It makes sense. It's literally the field of pink and gold. Like I feel like it'd be a nice point to finally introduce friend, even in like a, you know, I don't know, in a small way, question mark. I don't know what they're gonna do specifically, but I feel like friend should really show up. And I really don't know what else to say. I kind of hope Chapter 5 credits play. I kind of hope it plays Don't Forget again. Like, that would be really awesome. And I'm expecting a new battle theme. I don't know what it'll be called, but I'm expecting a new battle theme. And honestly, there's so much more I could say. Like, I could keep saying, like, my small thoughts. But this is my prediction board that I'm going to stick with. And I hope I'm right. And when June 24th comes and the sun goes down, I'll have played the chapter and I'll be like, you know what? I was either completely wrong or I got a few things right, but it was still really peak. So yeah, with all of that done, I'm gonna leave you guys, because I know listening to me for like 24 minutes is a lot, and I'm tired of talking, so goodbye!
If you made it to the end of the video, look out for Friday when I'm going to release 3 of my awesome song covers. There will be no Chapter 5 spoilers, of course, because I made them before Chapter 5. But, yeah, they're going to be so cool. Okay, bye.